We are getting a window into how a new generation of Republican activists talk when they think no one's listening, and it's really ugly. Politico obtained more than 7 months of Telegram chat messages between about a dozen young Republican leaders in New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. Now, MSNBC has not independently reviewed those messages, but what Politico published today shows the conservatives openly praising Adolf Hitler, making celebratory jokes about gas chambers and slavery and rape. For example, when the chair of Arizona Young Republicans asked if the New Yorkers in the chat were watching an NBA playoff game, New York State Republican Chair Peter Junta responded, "I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch monkeys play ball." We should note that when Politico asked for comment, the Arizona Young Republican chair declined. Junta claimed the release of the chat is part of, quote, a highly coordinated year-long character assassination led by an opponent, I think a kind of internecine opponent, a fellow conservative. Out of 28,000 messages obtained, Politico identified 251 bigoted epithets in the chat. There were many more outrageous examples of racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, homophobia than we could or would want to repeat here. Here's the thing. These are not we're not talking about kids here. The age limit to the group was 40. Many chat members work inside government or party politics. One's a state senator. Another works in Trump's small business administration. Politico reports that since they began making inquiries, at least 4 members of the chat have lost their jobs or had job offers rescinded. Now, this kind of virulent hatred on display here has become quite familiar in Trump's very online Republican Party. I mean, all you have to do is find it is open a website called x.com, right? And you can see it everywhere. That one's run by Donald Trump's biggest political donor. Or you can see Trump administration officials and official U.S. government accounts on social media exulting in sadistic edgelord cruelty and celebrating hatred and prejudice. But now it's also becoming clear that the people who are running the Republican Party at the ground level are just immersed in this cesspit of bigotry. And also, it's not just, abstract. They're acting on it. I mean, this is happening at the staff level during the Republican administration that has been waging a full-scale war on civil rights law from the first day in office. Jelani Cobb is a staff writer at The New Yorker, dean of the Columbia University School of Journalism, author of a new book out today, 3 or More is a Riot, Notes on How We Got Here, a collection of excellent essays. And he joins me now. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
I mean, at some level, this is not surprising.
No.
Particularly because you can kind of see, it all sounds like stuff you see out in the open. Mm-hmm. But it does seem important to me that, to connect, New York Times did this great piece the other day where they were talking about the highest levels of government and all of the officials of color, particularly black officials who have been fired.
That's right.
Lost their jobs.
Yeah.
It's not really an abstraction.
Right. This kind of bigotry and animus and what this government is currently doing. There, you see it right there. Yeah. And also I would add to that, other things that are patently obvious. We have had this incredible repressive attack on immigrants, even people who are in the country legally. These are overwhelmingly people of color who we see being thrown to the ground and yanked out of cars and all these. And at the same time, there's this curious benevolence toward white South Africans who are invited into the country. What gives?
Special status.
Yeah, special status. How does that work? I'm old enough to remember the alleged S-hole countries. I'm old enough to remember when Hillary Clinton was pilloried for saying that Donald Trump had aligned himself with a set of people who would be considered deplorable. But we see this kind of language, this kind of grab bag of bigotries, the kind of dueling homophobia, misogyny, anti-Semitism, racism, all of the kinds of worst traits. And it's been emboldened, has been facilitated by the movement, the Trumpist movement.
One of the things that struck me in reading this piece is, there's all sorts of private chats people have. And people,
Sure.
I want to be clear that, people say things in private that are different than what they say in public.
Sure.
And all kinds of people have private communications that would be embarrassing to be made public. But these people are, coordinating this in the context of a shared political project.
Right.
They're not talking smack to each other about fantasy football. Mm-hmm. They are people with power and influence. And it really does strike me that, this idea, it has become an affirmative good. J.D. Vance was just posting, refusing to condemn them. The culture of the right now really does embrace this. It's
Sure.
Whatever the opposite of political correctness is in their minds is affirmative cruelty and racism exalted.
Yeah, you remember when we saw the young woman who referred to the black child, baby, by the N-word, and then there was this massive wave of money generated for her online in response to being castigated for that. And so this is not uncommon. It's not surprising. The thing that I will say about that is this, though. We have a right to privacy. We have a right to express, ourselves among our friends and our peers in a way that we wouldn't in a professional environment, certainly, sure. But this is into the locker room talk territory.
Yeah, totally.
Where there are things that, are so outrageous that they should be concerning to you.
Like if I wanted to see monkeys play with the ball
exactly,
at the zoo.
Irrespective of the context in which it is uttered. And moreover, these are people who hold political power or attached to a political apparatus that impacts the lives of people, of Americans of various kinds of backgrounds.
I also feel like, I guess I've gotten in my middle age stodgy about this or something, but I think shame and taboo are really important. I think virtue signaling as opposed to vice signaling is important. And I actually think it's really important for people to be told by other people, hey, that's disgusting what you said. Hey, that's offensive what you said. What you have here on the right these days is a culture that is the opposite.
Right.
That revels in it, right? That this sort of rebellion against censoriousness or DEI or you can't say anything anymore very quickly turns into we love Hitler.
Right.
As maybe originally a kind of ironic take, but then not so ironic the more you say it.
But I wonder if it ever was that.
Right, yeah, fair point. Yes,
because it's
I'm being charitable.
Right, but even when you say this, okay, it's censorship, you don't want to prevent people from being able to express themselves, right. Sure. But what people are actually asking for is impunity.
That's right.
As in, you can say these things and there is no social consequence for them.
And that social consequence, in some ways, is what civilization is made of.
Right, right.
Honestly,
and so in my middle-agedness, Chris, I will see your demand for kind of maybe common decency and say that I believe that we should bring respect back.
Yeah,
just a basic level of respect.
Jelani Cobb, a man I deeply respect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.